Hello there, it's Carrie Rhodes here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and a new card making video. Today I am mass producing Christmas cards and this is the stamping edition. I am going to be hand stamping multiple Christmas cards and helping you learn how to do this in a quick way, which means it's not too late for you to start your Christmas cards. First, I picked out the stamps I wanted to use. This is the Jolly Santa stamp set from Stampers Anonymous. It came out last year, but I haven't used it yet. And then I paired it with the Darling Christmas that I bought this year, and I'm using one of my favorite backgrounds. This is the Solid Holly stamp set from Impression Obsession. I'll have all of those linked for you below. So first, I like to plan out my card before I start mass producing. Then I know how to cut all my paper. So I'm gonna make 8 cards today. I'm cutting my paper down the middle, so it's 4 1/4 inches wide and it is 11 inches long. So I can do 2 pieces of paper at once in my guillotine style trimmer. And now I have my 8 card bases. Then I bring out my scoring tool, score them all at 5 1/2 inches. And then I fold them in half to create the card bases. Now they're ready to go. I can set them aside. I don't have to think about it at all later. And I'm just using a bone folder there to crease them in the middle, and I'll have a nice stack. Then I need to cut out my card fronts. These are going to be 4 inches by 5 1/4. I actually am also cutting out the panels to stamp my Santas on at the same time. Now I'm stamping my background. I have my panel here that's 4 inches by 5 1/4 and temporarily adhering it down to that scratch paper in my MISTI. I've removed the foam pad that's normally in there because my stamp is a rubber stamp with foam already in it, so I don't need that. I'm inking it up with pine needles, distress ink, and then I'm going to spritz it with a little bit of water. I did just a mist of water, but as I went along and stamped all of my backgrounds, I really like to slowly squeeze the trigger on my distress sprayer, and that gave me some bigger blotches of water, which gave me a more loose watercolor look. So I already have my stamp in my MISTI. I've already got the ink pad out. I've got the paper cut. It's really easy to then go ahead and just repeatedly stamp out your backgrounds. And look how cool that turned out. Love that stamp so much. Okay, we've got the MISTI out. We might as well do some more stamping. So I'm going to stamp out the Santa from the Jolly Santa set. I love this image so much. I love retro Santas, and he is just so darn cute. I'm so happy that I finally broke it out and put ink on it and stamped it. And there he is, ready to go. So I got to stamp all of them out at the same time. And just like I said, it's really easy to do because I already have the paper ready to go. I've got the stamp there. I've got my ink out. You might as well stamp a bunch. All right, for another accent on my card, I'm going to stamp this, like, it's almost like a label piece, and it's like kind of vintage looking, and it says Christmas goods for the many. And I'm stamping that with Versamark ink onto some red cardstock. I just pulled scraps out of my stash, but you could pre-cut these to be the size you wanted them to be in the end. I'm going to cut mine later. So stamped in with Versamark and then sprinkling on some white powder. Now, my stamping is not perfection. My embossing powder is not sticking like perfect, and I'm okay with that. I kind of like that vintage, like really old salvaged kind of look to these, so I'm going with it. And then I am heating these up to melt the powder, and they need just a little bit of time to like cool before I cut them because I was going to use my paper trimmer. So I set them aside and I'm going to color out my Santa. Now this is kind of a big image, but it's pretty easy to color. There's not a lot of like color changes that you need to do, and I am only doing red as like my biggest color change. So I have 3 colors of red marker. You could slow this down if you wanted to see the cap colors. I know it's kind of going fast, but the coloring you really just want to follow those lines in the stamped image for shadowing. And then it's really simple to do. You can see easily where to put the highlight on the hat because of those dark shadow lines in this image. Now for all of the white, I'm using a W2 marker, but you could use like a cool gray on the hat and a warm gray on the beard just to differentiate between them a little bit. But I'm mass producing cards, so I'm trying to keep the work simple for myself. And I felt that this image is pretty simple to color because you can easily follow along with those shadow lines and there's not a lot of different colors in it. Also, Stampers Anonymous stamps do not have matching dies, so I'm gonna fussy cut mine out. Again, it's a pretty easy image to cut around. It's not super detailed, but you could always use your brother's scan and cut. You could use your silhouette cameo if you have that, which I have done before, but I decided to go old school. I'm only making 8 of these. And you can see I like to hold the paper with my right hand and turn it with my left. So I'm cutting with my right hand, turning the paper with my left. It makes it much easier for me. And you can see I'm such a fast fussy cutter. I love when I cut things out or even die cut a bunch of the same thing and you just stack them all up in a pile. It makes me so happy to see all of those Santas right there. I don't know why that makes me happy, but I love it. So here's all of my Santas. They're so cute. And now I'm going to trim out those sentiment strips. We're going to call them label strips. So at first I had my paper cutter out and I was like, yeah, I'm going to trim these down with my paper cutter. And then I was like, you know what? Some scissors might be actually a little bit easier. So I got some really long bladed scissors with a nice comfy handle and they were just easier to cut that way actually. So now I have all my labels ready. I want to do a little bit more stamping that I couldn't do previously because I didn't have my Santas ready. I didn't have my labels ready. And then once I had them ready, I could lay them out and figure out where I wanted this additional stamping to go right on my background. So this December 25th is from the Jolly Santa stamp set, and I'm going to stamp it in the upper corner with VersaFine Onyx black ink, so it'll sit on top and be nice and vibrant on top of that already stamped background. So this card has like all stamping. It's all stamping, and these cards are going to go together pretty quick. So that's done. Next, I'm bringing in that Darling Christmas and taking the sentiment that says Merry Christmas to all and to all a good night. I'm going to stamp that just below the December 25th in the same VersaFine Onyx black ink and just repeatedly stamp them like I have done throughout this video. And that's what it looks like right there. Now, we need a little red in this background. There's holly branches, but there's not berries, and I wanted berries, so I brought out the peppermint stick mica spray stain. The words didn't want to come out, and I just took the nozzle out and splattered that once I had shaken up the bottle. Make sure you shake it up really well. And then while those were drying, I stamped a sentiment on the inside from the Jolly Santa set as well. And now I am putting on my card fronts to my bases, and I was hoping that I had put the stack of card bases in the right direction, so when I opened them, the sentiment that I just stamped on the inside was on the right side. I thought about it right about now. So I peeked, and guess what? Yeah, so I just decided I'm going to keep going. I'll figure it out. I'm just going to keep going. So we'll get to that and how I fixed it. I'm going to glue down my sentiments. I wanted the word Christmas to show on all of these, so I'll be cutting off the word many on all of them. I love how it extends from the edge of the card base to the edge of the card base, going over my stamped background, like it's holding it down into place. Then I just trim those off with the scissors so it's flush with the edge of the card, and I love the white embossing. It looks so good. All right, let's move on to the Santas. Okay, so for the Santas, I put foam squares on the back of all of them. Then as I put them on my cards, I just have to peel them off and stick them down. So that's another little nice assembly line style thing that you can do to have them ready. And then I am fixing the inside. I took a 1.5 inch strip of cardstock cut to 4 1/4, stamped the sentiment, and glued it over the top so it was the right way. So it fixed it. When you open the card, the sentiment's not upside down. Then I stamped my hand stamp by on the back to complete these cards. I love these. These are probably my favorite cards so far, and they're pretty simple to do. The coloring does take a little bit of time, but it's not a ton of coloring, so it wasn't that bad. And I am so tickled with the results of these cards. If you missed my previous mass-producing Christmas cards video, featuring hot foiling, I will have it linked for you right here. You can jump in and check that out. And I'm hoping to have one more mass-producing Christmas card video for you. So if you like this one, let me know with a thumbs up and chat with me in the comments below what you're doing for your Christmas cards. I'll see you all again very soon. Happy stamping! Bye!